The Office, the show that made awkward silences, paper sales, and staplers in Jell-O somehow iconic. It's a mockumentary about a mid-tier paper company in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but it also became a cultural juggernaut that gave us everything from Michael Scott's That's What She Said to Dwight Schrute's Beat Farm. Today, we're diving deep. Development, cast, writing, legacy, behind the scenes, chaos, the whole Dunder Mifflin shebang. And yes, we'll talk about that last season. The Office didn't start in Scranton. It started in Slough, England, as a BBC series created by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. NBC thought, let's copy that, but with more optimism and less British teeth. At first, it was a risky bet. The US pilot was basically a shot-for-shot remake of the UK one, and the audiences weren't exactly screaming, "Give me more paper company drama!" But slowly, and I mean slowly, the writers realized that they needed to Americanize it. They brought in Greg Daniels, a Simpsons and King of the Hill alum who kept the cringe humor but injected warmth and heart. The genius move? Giving Michael Scott, played by Steve Carell, not just cluelessness, but a tiny shred of humanity that made you root for him, even when he was being the most cringe-inducing boss in history. The mockumentary style gave it a raw, fly-on-the-wall feel, but unlike other sitcoms, it didn't have a laugh track, which made the awkwardness 10 times funnier and at least made me know why I was laughing. Here's the basic setup. Dunder Mifflin is a paper company nobody's ever heard of, run by a boss who shouldn't be running a lemonade stand. The camera crew is making a documentary about office life, so everything from petty workplace rivalries to romance is caught in all its awkward glory. The humor comes from the fact that the employees treat selling paper like it's a life or death mission, and yet most of their time is spent doing anything but selling paper. And then there's the human side. Jim and Pam's will they, won't they romance had the fans more invested than actual weddings. Dwight's insane dedication to work and farm life, and Michael's desperate need to be loved by literally everyone. It's part sitcom, part workplace therapy session, part documentary about how not to run a company. Steve Carell as Mike Scott is the beating heart of the show and the main reason it lasted as long as it did. Then you've got John Krasinski as Jim Halpert, charming, mischievous, and the king of breaking the fourth wall with camera Jim looks. Jenna Fisher as Pam Beasley, sweet, relatable, and the only sane person in the building, most of the time. Rainn Wilson as Dwight Schrute, a man so intense you'd swear he was raised by wolves and corporate training manuals. The supporting cast is where The Office became legendary. Mindy Kaling, B.J. Novak, Ed Helms, Ellie Kemper, Paul Lieberstein, Kate Flannery, Brian Baumgartner, Creed Bratton, the list goes on. Each brought their own weird, wonderful quirks that made even background scenes hilarious. Creed, for example, might have been a murderer, or a cult leader, or both. We'll never know. Greg Daniels set the tone, but the show was a breeding ground for creative talent. Writers like Mindy Kaling, Paul Lieberstein, and B.J. Novak also acted in the series, which meant they knew the characters inside out. Episodes were often directed by cast members too, including Rainn Wilson and John Krasinski. This gave the series an authenticity, because the people making it were also living it, and possibly pranking Dwight in real life. Showrunners eventually rotated, especially after Carell left, with Paul Lieberstein taking over for a bit. The show's tone shifted depending on who was in charge, but even at its weakest, The Office kept its identity as a cringe humor meets heartwarming workplace comedy. When The Office premiered in 2005, critics were split. Some thought it was too close to the British version. Others thought it was too awkward for American audiences. But by season 2, critics were eating their words. The show became a critical darling, racking up Emmy nominations and wins, including Outstanding Comedy Series. Steve Carell's Michael Scott became one of the most iconic sitcom characters ever, and phrases from the show warmed their way into everyday conversation. Even today, The Office has absurd rewatch numbers on streaming platforms. It's basically the comfort food of TV, familiar, endlessly quotable, and somehow still funny after the 15th viewing. This isn't just a sitcom, it's a pop culture monument. From memes to GIFs to Michael Scott motivational posters, The Office has left a permanent mark on internet culture. It influenced shows like Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Abbott Elementary. More importantly, it's become that rare series that works as both background noise and something you can binge watch with full attention. It also turned its cast into stars. John Krasinski went from paper salesman to action hero as Jack Ryan. Mindy Kaling became a TV powerhouse, and Rainn Wilson still makes people fear beats. The actors were actual friends of set, which explains the chemistry. The computers on the desks, they worked. So cast members would literally browse the internet or write emails during filming. Many of the show's best lines were also improvised, including, "Dwight, you ignorant slut." The fire drill cold open in Stress Relief took 2 full days to film, and I gotta tell you, it's my best cold open of the show. It was worth it. Oh, and remember Jim putting Dwight's stapler in Jell-O? That wasn't a prop. It was a real stapler in real Jell-O. Yes, it's as disgusting as you think. Alright, here's the elephant in the Scranton branch. The show lost a lot of steam after Steve Carell left in season 5. They tried replacing him with guest stars and Will Ferrell, which was like replacing a puppy with a ferret wearing a bow tie. Funny, but not the same. Some storylines in the last 2 seasons felt rushed or just plain weird, like the whole Andy disappears on a boat plotline. Still, even at its weakness, The Office had enough great moments to keep fans watching. The final season redeemed itself with a perfect ending, emotional, satisfying, and yes, it did make us cry. Don't lie, you cried too. If you've never watched The Office, first of all, welcome to the 21st century. Second, you're in for one of the funniest, most relatable, and surprisingly heartfelt sitcoms ever made. It's a masterclass in the character-driven comedy, awkward humor, and finding joy in the mundane. It's bingeable, quotable, and somehow still relevant years after ending. Plus, it has one of the greatest cold opens in TV history, the fire drill episode. Yeah, like I said, my very best. If that one doesn't hook you, man, I don't know what else will. So, The Office. It's the kind of show that makes you laugh, makes you cringe, and occasionally makes you tear up, sometimes in the same scene. Whether you're here for Jim's pranks, Michael's train wreck leadership, or Dwight's terrifying dedication to paper sales, it's one of the best sitcoms of all time. And that's not just me talking, that's what she said. If you like what you just saw, please do like and share this video, and of course subscribe to Moviematic. We really appreciate it. If you don't, thank you so much for watching this video to the end all the same. Take care and have a great one.